Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Vampire Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Darling Cloudy Snarl, who has recently seen the death of her second-born daughter, Crown Princess Nydia. With what the court believes to be a second divine judgment, the Queen is beginning to fear for the future. She could see from a young age that there were issues within her bloodline, but she turned a blind eye to it in hopes that time would fix all. But perhaps that was foolish of her. Now she must grant Nimue the golden circlet worn by her older sisters, along with the title of Crown Princess. Her heart tells her Nimue was the best choice all along, but Darling worries that even this child of hers won't survive. To secure her daughter's future, the Queen has announced the immediate betrothal of Lord Yorick and Crown Princess Nimue. The two of them look quite uncertain about their future together, but life has taken many twists to get them here, and all they can do is accept it. Now all eyes are on Nimue to see how she'll handle a responsibility she never asked for. We are picking up at Tuesday at 5 a.m. and guys, look at how sad Yorick is. This boy is absolutely distraught. I hope he's not doing anything drastic out in the sun, but he has been getting passed around like candy, and I don't think that would make anyone feel good about themselves. This is the third princess he has been matched with. I know the males realize that they are a commodity within this society to the females, but still, nobody really goes through something like this. Nobody really gets treated like this. And for Yorick, he's been through a lot. I mean, with Zara, it was a very uncertain relationship they had. With Nydia, he had a moment of bliss, a moment of happiness, because it was kind of mutual, and she was the first person he ever had feelings for. He had a crush on her. And now, suddenly, before he's even had time to enjoy that, he has been betrothed to Crown Princess Nimue. And I thought I'd pull up his relationship so we can kind of take a look and compare. Out of the three females that are now alive, he has the least amount of relationship with Nimue, which tells me that she is his last choice for a marriage partner. So I don't think, even though they are friends, I don't think he has ever seen Nimue that way, and he has ever had that sort of intention towards her. So, on top of losing Nydia, now being thrust into this new relationship, I think, is very emotionally demanding for him. He doesn't really know how to cope with it. And I think also Yorick is kind of losing faith in the institution of marriage, because this is not his first or second betrothal, it's his third in a very short span of time. So I think that would be very hard to wrap your head around. Now, he despises Prince Oro and also despises Queen Darling, so already he doesn't seem to get along well with the royal family. And I think this match is maybe going to, I don't know, I hope not lead to some bad blood, but I definitely think it's going to leave a sour taste in Yorick's mouth. So I've actually gone ahead and put his betrothal portrait that he had with Nydia over here next to the one with Zara. So this is going to be obviously a memory that the Queen might choose to look upon from time to time, but the new betrothal portrait has been added. So we have one with him and Nimue, and you can kind of see that they don't really look too happy in this portrait. Yorick is looking at Nydia very sadly and uncertainly, and then Nydia, oh geez, sorry, I keep saying Nydia, but Nydia's dead. Nimue. And Nimue's looking away because this is something she's never really wanted. This is a life she never really wanted, and I think everyone more or less knows that. So everyone's curious to see how exactly she's gonna cope with all of it. In terms of Nimue's relationships, she is, like I said, friends with Yorick. She apparently despises her brother, Prince Zaro. which is wild. And even more so, I get the sense that Zara really has become a broken person because of everything that happened with Zara, and that's reflecting in all of his relationships. Like literally, with his entire family, his relationship seems to have gone down in the red, and I'm very surprised that Nimue has like max dislike for him. It's like a -100 friendship. I was not expecting that. But also, I think we know that Zaro liked Nydia the most out of his siblings, so having that loss on top of the loss of his twin, who he had a very contentious relationship with, I think would be even more difficult for him. So, Nimue. You know what? I'm kind of wondering whether or not Nimue's relationship with Zaro is because she personally feels like she's struggling from the way, she's been dragged into all of this. So the death of her sisters is making her suffer. This responsibility is suffering. But Zaro looks more broken. And maybe she feels as though Zaro is acting like he's broken, or he's making such a big deal out of it, when really he's not the one going through the most struggle, it's her. So I think that might be why this relationship is so bad. But that aside, she is still, best friends with Vampyre, and knowing what the Brightpool family have been involved in, I feel like this is a very dangerous friendship for Nimue to have, especially because Vampyre seems very, like politics-minded, like her mother, because she's trying to cover for and support her mother. And Nimue, since she's never been interested, feels very naive and a bit blasé. So I'm worried about how much of an influence Vampyre might end up being on Nimue in the future. But it's good to know that she has friendships with her mother, Zuleika, and Yorick. So I definitely feel like Nimue knows that Yorick liked her sister Nydia, and that she is his last choice for a marriage partner, and she probably feels bad for the fact that he's being forced into this betrothal. So I think she would emotionally keep some distance from him. Like, I don't think she would be crushing on him, or she would be trying to seduce him, or overly happy. I think she knows the reality of their situation, which again is quite unfortunate. Guys, we have made it to Zuleika's birthday. It is 7 a.m. on Wednesday, and we are celebrating her finally aging up into an immortal. You have no idea how happy I am that at least one of our girls have managed to become a young adult and make it to immortality, because at this rate, the survival of our youngsters is seeming very perilous. But Akira, okay, she's chatting with them. Where the heck did Shannon go off to? Oh, she's back. She walked off, but now she has returned, because obviously she needs to participate in something as big as this. So we're gonna go ahead and actually blow out the candles. As you can see, everyone is dressed in their party wear because today is a day of celebration. So Zuleika, let's go ahead and blow out the candles. And now Zara, her betrothed, is here attending as well. Okay, here we go, Zuleika. Congratulations. The fact that her life was so close to ending, but she has managed to make it to this point, makes me really, really happy. But okay, guys, it is finally time for Zuleika to randomize her third trait. And actually, I already know what her third trait is, because I was pondering on whether I wanted to just age her up in Cass, and I did go ahead, age her up in Cass, and randomize a trait for her. But then I figured, you know what, no, maybe I'll just do the birthday cake in-game, because that's traditionally how we do things, and there's a sense of, celebration when you have the cake out. So I already know what trait she randomized, and to be honest, now that I've seen it, I can't unsee that trait for her because it is such a huge part of her arc. I do have to go ahead and randomize what aspiration she's going to have though, so I am going to quickly do that off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and as you can see, she has randomized the aspiration Friend of the World and the final trait of Evil. I was so shook when she randomized this initially when I aged her up in Cass, but it makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not going to talk about it in detail because I want to save that for when I've done her makeover in Cass, but this is Zuleika, guys. This is Zuleika. Now, she's also going to get the title of Lady once I finish her makeover, because as an immortal and young adult, she is no longer a dame. She is now a lady, a fully fledged member of this court, and she's going to be eligible to be voted in for council. Zuleika, Zuleika, Zuleika. Look at that. She has finally aged up into an immortal. I'm so proud of her. That does mean that she, in vampiric society, is considered a successful vampirist, a successful child, and her portrait will be recorded in the family tree. So I am very, very thrilled for her. And oh my goodness, look at Zorro being so rude to Shannon. She probably deserves it, but that's intriguing. So I'm not going to waste any time. I think I want to go ahead, do her makeover, talk a little bit more about her traits and aspiration, and then I think we'll come back and continue doing some whims as everyone carries out the celebration for her birthday. Lady Zuleika has aged up into a young adult, so we're taking a look at her in Cass. She's developed the evil trait and aspires to be a friend of the world. I was so shocked when she initially rolled this, but then I started to reflect on everything that's happened in her life, and it makes sense. She started off so bright with dreams to become someone her mother could rely on. Instead, she was picked on for no reason by Zara, betrothed to Zorro, had her bloodline's future doomed, lost Yorick to 3 princesses, and is now stuck with a prince that's so broken he can't become the perfect husband she wants. I think all of this has made Zuleika a very bitter person inside, and she started to think like a villain. On the other hand, her past with Zara still haunts her, and she feels the need to make friends so that she'll never have to go through that kind of torture again. In terms of appearance, I think Zuleika's become very bold, along with a touch of feminine. I think this shows how she feels more in control now and unafraid. She's out of Zara's shadow and is embracing the fact that because Zara will never amount to what she wants, she'll have to be enough for the both of them. And that's all we have for Lady Zuleika. Okay, we're picking up at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, and we are going to start going through some whims with, I think, the older ladies. Starting off with Caleb. So Caleb wants to brag about possessions. Let's go ahead and see who she might want to do that with. Who does she have the closest relationship with? She has a 74 with Shannon, an 85 with Vampyre, a 43 with Akira, 57 with Zuleika, 43 with Darling, 30 with Nimue, and 81 with Lilith. Oh, she's got the highest with Vampyre. Okay. So she is going to wake up Vampyre, and I think the way we can interpret this particular want is that in light of Zuleika's birthday, Caleb, who has been, I feel, an advocate for the children for a long time, she is feeling very proud and accomplished that one of the youngsters have made it to immortality. And she kind of wants to brag about that. So let's go ahead. I think this would be under small talk. Yes, she's going to brag about possessions. That is how I'm going to interpret that. Possessions, something tangible, the fact that Zuleika is now an immortal. That is something tangible. They can feel that, they can see that, and it is a big deal, especially in light of all the deaths that we've been having lately. Next up, we have Lady Lilith, who I've actually already gotten to invite Lady Vladislav over, so I'm gonna complete this whim because she wanted to invite a sim over. I do think Lilith would feel the importance of having the caretaker here to celebrate as well, since the caretakers are responsible for helping to raise the children, and this would kind of be an accomplishment for Vladislav as well. So that's very thoughtful of Lilith, I feel. And we know she's already quite wise. I feel like this is her wisdom, trying to be really inclusive with all members of the court. Next up, we have Shannon. Okay, Shannon wants to win a card game. So I feel like this is Shannon wanting to get some of the ladies together and maybe reassess the court, because now that Zuleika is like a fully fledged member of court, she's a young adult, and well, she's evil. This is like a whole new personality that Shannon now has to take into account with her plans. And she doesn't know how... Look at how cool Zuleika looks. She looks so cool. Like, I don't think Shannon knows how she's going to deal with Zuleika, because she doesn't know what kind of force Zuleika is yet. It's almost as though Zuleika is a whole new member of court. That's how drastically she's changed. So I can see Shannon wanting to figure out what's going on by getting some of the ladies together to play cards, because typically this is a way for them to get a read on each other. So let's see. She's going to play cards with... Okay, she's going to play cards with Akira, with Zoro, and Zuleika, because she has the least amount of relationship with them. She knows them the least. And this is so fascinating to me because all three of these Sims are connected with each other. We have Akira, we have his son-in-law, Prince Zoro, and then we have her daughter, Lady Zuleika, who has just aged up into a young adult. So I can definitely see Shannon wanting to get a read on these guys. It's kind of fascinating that she already... I didn't realize that her relationship with Akira had gotten so bad. That's intriguing. That is very intriguing. And you know what, guys? It is wild to me how, as this generation is coming to a close, it's almost as though every episode we have, something dramatic happens. Like, we had Zara declare Zoro an enemy, then we had Zara die, then we had Nydia become crown princess, then we had Nydia die, then we had Nimue become crown princess, and then we had Zuleika age up into an evil villain. So I feel like so much is happening and so much is changing. Every time I would not have anticipated any of this. It's not anything I would have taken into account, as though, you know, this might happen in the future. So it's very, very wild to me. Okay, come on. Let's try again. We want to make sure that everyone here plays. We'll invite them back in. They did walk off a little bit. Maybe they don't want to be assessed necessarily. Okay, well, it seems as though Akira and Zuleika are maybe not in the mood to play with Shannon. I could kind of see, well, Akira sat down, but she doesn't want to join into the game. I feel like she kind of knows the way Shannon's mind works, and she doesn't want to be studied by Shannon, and I feel like Zuleika is probably thinking in the same stream. She knows what Shannon's trying to do is kind of study her a bit, and she doesn't want to be under her gaze. But Zoro, I feel like Zoro's a little bit naive at times, and maybe he thinks that Shannon is just being polite, which is why he's sitting down and playing cards with her. So again, I honestly can't see how Zuleika and Zoro are going to be able to work out in the future. I feel really bad for them, but it almost feels as though they are going to have a very difficult marriage. I think they're going to have a very, very difficult marriage. They do not see eye to eye. Once upon a time, maybe they could have developed a friendship and, you know, progressed together in one direction, but the type of people they've become, I don't see that for them anymore, which is very disheartening. Okay, oh. Akira wants to listen to some Estrat music. This is not good. This is not good. Akira does not get along well with Zara, apparently. Does not. But she is really good friends with Yorick. And we know she's always preferred Yorick. And you know what? Maybe the fact that Zara has such a difficult relationship with Zuleika is making Akira feel very protective over her daughter. And so she has started looking at Zoro with a certain bias and judgment as well. And one of you lovelies actually had a really interesting take on why Zuleika's relationship with Zoro had gotten really bad. I think it was Icicle Moon. You were saying that maybe when Zuleika and Zara were talking about Zara being gone, Zuleika kind of let slip that she's a little bit relieved because now she doesn't have to be so anxious about Zara constantly picking fights with her. And Zoro felt as though that was insensitive. Like, he could maybe understand where she was coming from because he went through the same thing, but at least try and hide the fact that you are relieved, even for his sake, which he didn't do. And I think misunderstandings are kind of amounting from there, which is not nice. But this whole thing, listening to some Estrat music, I feel like Akira, again, is wanting to celebrate the fact that her daughter's an immortal. It's her birthday. It's like, you know, celebration time. So that's what she wants to do. She just wants to enjoy herself. For once. She wants to enjoy herself and the fact that she is the first vampirist, actually, if we think about it, whoa. She is the first vampirist to successfully raise a child according to their society's standards. So I'm actually really proud of Akira. But you know what? I'm also wondering whether the joy of seeing Zuleika become an immortal is kind of overshadowing the fact that something is wrong with Zuleika. Like, so much. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Shannon is dying. You know what this is making me think of? One of you lovelies made a really funny point a few episodes back that almost everyone who causes drama in the court ends up dying. Like, Lily in the beginning caused drama, she ended up dying. And then after her, I think Miko and Billy were kind of causing some drama because they were having fights and disagreements over Akira. They ended up dying. And then Zara was, you know, causing havoc in the court. She ended up dying. Nydia was plotting and planning and masterminding. She ended up dying. Now Shannon, who we know has been a steady villainess up until this point, is dying. It's like everyone who causes problems in the court, they just end up dying and burning in the sun. It is wild. And Zuleika, she never exposed Shannon for what she did. And there's no, I suppose, reason to expose her now because Shannon is dying. And since no one, I'm gonna see if anyone walks in on this, but since no one is in the vicinity, guys, the way I'm interpreting this, like, no one's here. No one's here for us to blame. So whenever someone dies without anyone else in the vicinity, I'm interpreting that as divine intervention, like a divine judgment has been passed down. So we had our first divine judgment with Nydia, and our second divine judgment is apparently with Shannon. And I feel like it's definitely Brightpool. So the bloodline deity of Shannon's own family, I think, is passing divine judgment. Yeah, because maybe Brightpool can see that Shannon's ambitions is leading Vampyre down a dark path. Kind of in a similar path to where Zuleika has ended up. And she fears for Vampyre's future. So she's taking Shannon out of the equation so that she doesn't influence Vampyre anymore. Oh my goodness. Isn't this justice, though? Because Shannon kills Zara. Isn't this justice that she is dying? Oh my goodness. That is mind-boggling. That is mind-blowing. We're having so many deaths. So many deaths. But guys, since we have lost... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We just lost the entire Brightpaw bloodline in the span of minutes. Minutes, guys. Minutes. Okay. I need to think about this. I need to flip and think about this. Vampyre, I don't think I can call this divine intervention. Shannon, I feel like, was divine intervention for all the reasons I laid out, because no one was here. But with Shannon, we were talking. I mean, she was talking to Caleb, who's walking off. Zoro's also here witnessing this. Queen Darling is also here. She's not looking, like, she can't see from where she's at, but she's also, like, in the area. Guys, what is going on? So let me think through this. I'm almost wondering, I'm trying to piece together, like, what the heck is happening. What is Vampyre's relationship with Caleb? She's actually really good friends with Caleb, right? We have Zoro, who she has a relationship in the red with. We also have Queen Darling, who really dislikes Vampyre, and who Vampyre dislikes as well. How is Queen's relationship with Zoro? It used to be bad. But it's like 2 now. It was in the red, guys. It was very far in the red. Now it's a 2. Okay, let me think about this. Let me be a detective and piece things together. Where's Zuleika? Zuleika is happily taking a nap while all this chaos is going on. Okay. Guys, I wonder if Queen Darling has actually discovered and found out. I don't know when this happened. I don't know how this happened. I'm gonna have to look back at the footage to see who she has conversed with over the course of the day. But I'm wondering whether Queen Darling has actually discovered that Shannon murdered Zara, and that it wasn't what she had initially said. It wasn't divine intervention. Things didn't go down the way that Shannon had presented to them. And the Queen kind of felt as though, in order to take revenge on Shannon for stealing her child, for killing her child, she would orchestrate the murder of Vampyre. So it's not like she's punishing, Shannon herself or taking Shannon's life. No, she's taking the life of Shannon's child because that's what Shannon did to her. And maybe as a queen, she didn't want to personally get involved with this because she didn't want her decision to ruin her relationship with other members of court. So she gave Zoro an ultimatum, which was, if you don't want to get involved, then you don't have to get involved, but our relationship will stay ruined. However, if you want to repair your relationship with me and become the son that you once were, then you have to murder Vampyre. You have to bear the responsibility of ensuring that she is dealt with. And so because Zoro has carried out his mother's wish and killed Vampyre, or at least orchestrated the murder of Vampyre, he has gained a little bit of, appreciation from his mother. Like all the bad blood they had between them the queen has put to rest, because Zaro has kind of earned that. And obviously, while this is happening quite unexpectedly, and maybe Caleb is here without knowing what's going on, because Caleb had a good relationship with Vampyre. Caleb doesn't know what's going on, but maybe Zaro has ensured that she is there so that, in a way, she can be his alibi, as a way of saying that, the three of us were conversing together, so it's not as though, I didn't see anything while I was there, so it's not as though Zaro would have done anything, because I would have noticed. But Caleb does like to see the good in people. We have said that she's a bit naive that way, so I can kind of see. And Zaro has always been a very, very kind boy, so I don't think she would ever see how he would do something as dark as this. And while this has been happening, divine judgment was passed down on Shannon over here. So in the span of minutes, her bloodline has been wiped out. Oh my goodness. This is so dramatic and chaotic. This is so dramatic and chaotic. And now Lilith is coming to witness this. And the fact that the queen is she's here, but she's facing the other way. Almost as though she doesn't see anything, but just close enough to make sure that the deed has gone through. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I am just so shocked. And I feel like Zaro would be alerting everyone to the fact that Vampyre has died, so nobody can really point a finger to him and say that he's the one that killed her. Okay, free roaming ghost. This is so, I'm so shook right now. I am so shook. But I was going to say, guys, autonomy is on. I swear, autonomy is on. They can save themselves if they so wish. Oh my goodness. I was going to say that since we have lost Shannon, and Shannon was a member of the older court, then I do need to kind of boost our numbers a bit. And in my head, I kind of view the second generation, even though the court is mixed with the generations, I view them as different to the first generation. So I won't replace members of the second generation if they die right now, but I will replace members of the first generation if they die. So the fact that Shannon's died means we need a new member of the main court. So what I might do is actually move Vladislav, or get Vladislav to finally join the main court. And we don't currently need a caretaker, but you know what? I might still make a caretaker so they can take over the female faculty so that we're ready for the next generation. But Vladislav is probably going to join us in the main court now. Oh my goodness. This is so wild. This is so wild. That mother and daughter died at the same time. They died together. Yay. And to think that the highlight of this episode was supposed to be Nimue and Yorick getting betrothed. I am still going to make that the highlight because I want to lead you guys astray. I want you to come into this not knowing the drama that's about to happen. I was just going on about how every episode is more and more dramatic. I obviously didn't have enough of an imagination if I thought we had reached peak drama, because apparently that's not the case. And I cannot believe that we only have 2 girls left from the 5 that we've been raising this whole time. Even more so, I am sensing the importance, I am feeling in my bones the importance of our ladies reaching immortality, because that means Vampyre is, her appearance, her portrait is not going to be recorded in vampiric history. And let's see, this does adjust when we are probably going to be ending the generation. So the next birthday we have is for Nimue, which we already know. So instead of ending the generation here, we might end the generation immediately after the archery tournament. So I am gonna have to like shift this a few days back. We'll be ending earlier than expected. And please, please, please let Nimue survive. And I have to be realistic with you guys at this point. I have to be real. Because with the rate at which our vampires are dying, it definitely feels like we need to face reality. And I think this question has been brewing on all of our minds. What the heck is going to happen if Nimue dies? Like, if Nimue dies, our princess is gone. What is going to happen? And beforehand, we did have 2 candidates for a new dynasty. We had Zuleika and we had Vampyre. But now that Vampyre is dead, literally the only one left is Zuleika. So if something happens to Nimue and Nimue dies, then guys, Zuleika is going to establish a new royal dynasty. But she's evil. Like, are we gonna have a new dynasty and an evil queen? What is her relationship with Nimue? Like, I'm stressed now. I'm worried now. She's friends with Nimue, but who knows? I feel like I have never played a sim that is evil but also wants to be a friend of the world. That could go either way. She could want to make enemies or make friends. So I have no clue which way she's gonna swing. She could very well become enemies with Nimue, plot to kill Nimue, and then become the new queen. Maybe because she feels like the current dynasty has let her down so much, she's gonna revolt. I don't know. I am stressed though. But okay, guys. With that said and done, I am gonna leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.